Hello everyone, and in conjunction with my effort to help everyone understand autism a little bit better this Autism Awareness Month, what I'm going to be doing today is based off of something I talked about a couple weeks ago during Autism Awareness Month here, the gluten-free, casein-free diet. Now many of you parents of children with autism and people with autism themselves, you may be very interested in trying this gluten-free, casein-free diet to see if it helps you manage your children a little bit better, help them be a little bit calmer, and help yourself be a little bit calmer as well. And what better way to start to kind of try that diet out for yourself than with a treat, a gluten-free, casein-free treat. And that's exactly what I'm going to be showing you how to do here today. We're going to be making chocolate brownies that are gluten-free, dairy-free, wheat-free, soy-free, they're nut-free, but you can add nuts in if you want. They're free of corn, free of tree nuts, no artificial flavors or preservatives, none of that bad stuff, all natural. And it can be made with just what we have here. Obviously, the gluten-free baking mix set, brownie baking mix that I believe is really the absolute best there is the Trader Joe's gluten-free brownie baking mix. You can find it in any Trader Joe's near you. So we use that mix, we use one whole bag, and this is everything right here that you need to make these. Big mixing bowl, baking pan, brownie baking pan. They suggest the use on the back of the package of an 8x8 brownie baking pan, but it really doesn't matter, you just kind of got to adjust the amount of time you bake the brownies accordingly. Eggs. This olive oil spray, obviously, to spray on the baking pan before we put the brownies in so they don't stick, and a measuring cup, and vegetable. You can use vegetable oil. However, I find it's much healthier. Coconut oil is very healthy for you, and it adds a little bit of an extra coconut spin, coconut flavor to the brownies if you use coconut oil in place of vegetable oil, which is what I'm going to do here today, and which is what I regularly do when I make these brownies. Let's get started. First step with baking any delicious treat is to preheat the oven. And on the back of the package they suggest preheating the oven to 350 degrees, so that's what we're going to do first and foremost. 350 degrees, default setting, so start on, and we're preheating. Okay, now the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to put the brownie baking mix into the big mixing bowl. So I've taken the brownie mix out of the packaging, and you just dump the whole thing on in there. Make sure you get all of it in there, it's very important, so you get the optimal number of brownies in the end. And I kind of like to use the bag here just to throw the garbage in. Next thing we're going to do is the eggs. The package specifies or calls for 1 egg, but when I make them I always do 2 eggs. You can really adjust things like that accordingly based upon what you like. One egg. Two eggs. Okay, now I'm going to go wash my hands. Very important after you handle eggs. Next step, we're going to be taking the mixing cup and adding 1/4 of water into our mixing pan. Let's see if we got about 1/4. About 1/4. Pour the water into the mixing bowl. And next, we put in our vegetable or coconut oil. Now if you're using coconut oil, it's best, at least I feel it's best, you kind of estimate, since coconut's not liquid at room temperature, it's kind of good to take, I like to use an ice cream scooper, like that. Kind of just scoop as much coconut oil as we can get out of there. Not too much, you know, don't want to do too much. You just stick it on in measuring cup, And you take it and pop it into the microwave so that it melts down into liquid form, so that we know that we have about a half cup of coconut oil before we put it in to the brownie mixture. And having it in liquid form also makes it much easier to stir on into the brownie batter. Just turn that on. And look at that. Now that we've taken the liquefied, melted down coconut oil out of the microwave, we see that we have just over a half cup of coconut oil in there, which is perfect for what we need. And it took 42 seconds to melt that down in the microwave, so not very long at all. So we take this and we pour it on in to the mixing bowl. And then we take a little mixer here. You can use an electric mixer if you prefer, but I like to do this the old-fashioned way here. And you mix it in. See, here we have, you can see, all the baking mix still in there, not mixed in. You have to mix it until you don't see any more eggs or any more of the actual brownie mix in the mix form anymore. Now you mix until you can see that. Doesn't take very long to do this. Look at that. All set to go in the baking pan and to bake. Should also mention that at this point in time, right before we put the brownie mix into the brownie pan, this is the time where you can add any dried nuts, any dried fruit, or any chocolate chips of any type as you please. This is the point in which you would do that, and then you can just put it right into the baking pan and bake. But we're not going to add any of that stuff in today because it is just as good, just so perfectly good on its own with nothing added in. So let's get it on into baking pan, assuming that the baking pan is already sprayed, because I sprayed it off camera. And when through with that, it comes time to put them in the oven, which we already preheated to 350 degrees, and by now it's reached that temperature of 350 degrees. So open up the oven, take the little mixture of brownies, take the brownie batter in the pan, slide it on in. I like to put the oven light on, that's just me. Close the oven up, and the package specifies to bake for approximately 30 minutes or until toothpick inserted in center comes out clean. So what I like to do is I will set the timer for 25 minutes, and in 25 minutes I will check it with a toothpick, and it varies a little bit. Sometimes it'll be done a little bit sooner than 30 minutes, sometimes it'll take a little bit longer. So in 25 minutes we'll be back to check it out. Just about 3 minutes left until we check, and they are looking good. Four, three, two, one. Let's check them out. Okay, we're going to take a toothpick out here. Get a little oven mitt on here. Put all the steam on the lens. It's in the middle there. Not quite. Put it in there for another 5 or 10 minutes. the oven mitt here. Stick it back in. We're going to say another 5 minutes. Been 5 minutes, time to check again. Should be about done now. Toothpick. And in the middle. We're going to give it like another 5 minutes. Then it should be all done. Okay, another 5 minutes. Let's check again. Should be all done. Look at that. Nice and clean. Brownies are all done. And so it took about 35 minutes of baking time. And we're all set. Now we're going to take them out and let them cool. Delectable. All done and perfect to eat. Bon appetit. Well, we hope you enjoyed this tutorial video showing you how to make wheat-free, gluten-free, dairy-free, soy-free, nut, peanut, and tree nut-free chocolate brownies.